Breaking news today. Both Trump and Putin are in peril and require each other's support now more than ever. Both Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are having a rough go of it right now. That could be seen as good news, given that they are two of the most repulsive and dangerous people in the world. On the other hand, for the simple reason that the only thing that has a chance of turning the tide in Putin's disastrous war in Ukraine is the same thing that can save Trump from the dark realities of legal accountability. That's why Donald Trump was elected to a second term. This time around, Trump and Putin have similar interests, but the stakes are much higher than in 2016. That should make everyone anxious. We should be very concerned. That "fuck you" party is the Republican Party. Even worse, for some people the 2024 election is a matter of life and death. Trump's closest allies are among those who could go to prison if he is not re-elected and pardons them. This group includes both extremists and their supporters, who view a Trump victory as an opportunity to avoid legal consequences. Some of these people are supporters of President Trump's MAGA policy agenda, who fear that 4 more years of Joe Biden's appointments of reasonable jurists will roll back some of their efforts to limit women's rights, criminalize sexual orientation and gender identity in the LGBTQ community, and make it harder for people to exercise their democratic right to vote. Yet for others, the stakes are practically existential. Among these are the nations that have publicly declared their support for Trump. The disgraced ex-president's alleged business ties to these are now a target of special counsel Jack Smith's investigation. Also included are the U.S. politicians who have publicly pledged allegiance to His Royal Majesty and whose political fortunes are expected to mirror his. Together, they form an unholy alliance that threatens the integrity of next year's elections and raises the prospect of a level of electoral contestation that could make the uprising of January 6, and Trump's nationwide false electors campaign look tame. Trump and Putin's disaster in Ukraine is becoming more and more apparent every day. Attorney General Merrick Garland should stop defending President Trump. The date of March 25, 2024, has been set for the start of his hush money trial in New York. The report on President Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents, which Smith is reportedly finishing up, will be released soon. He has broadened the scope of their investigation to include potential wrongdoing in connection with Trump's fundraising efforts and is also investigating Trump's involvement in the insurrection on January 6. Any charges in the case that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis may bring regarding election interference by Trump and/or his allies are expected in the first 3 weeks of August, she has indicated. Additional election fraud charges could be filed by other states. And if E. Jean Carroll succeeds in expanding her claims in a second, related case, the verdict against Trump in her defamation case could be amplified. Putin may have claimed victory in the battle for Bakhmut, but he has paid a heavy price for it in terms of military casualties. His army probably won't be able to hold the city's charred ruins for much longer. The United States and its allies have also committed to providing Ukraine with cutting-edge F-16 fighters and pilot training. Attacks from Ukrainian militia across the border into Russia have also occurred. The strength of Russia's armed forces has been significantly diminished. Putin has effectively sent his entire conventional force into action in Ukraine, where it is taking heavy casualties. The Ukrainian military is preparing for a major offensive. Wagner Group head Yevgeny Prigozhin, a former friend of Putin's, has warned that if Putin doesn't turn things around, he risks a domestic revolution and defeat in Ukraine. Of course, Prigozhin was crucial in Putin's efforts to meddle in the 2016 American election by providing him with support. He went so far as to say so out loud. Putin's motivations for working to ensure Trump's election in 2016 were likely much less compelling than they are today. Even Trump's original motivations for entering politics pale in comparison to the current ones. The end of the world, centrists, Elon Musk, and Joe Rogan. Given the number of trials and the nature of the charges against Trump, his only hope of avoiding conviction and jail time may be to delay them until after the election. And it is clear that he will try anything to achieve this goal, from complaining on social media that the New York case has been brought to interfere with his campaigning to revealing himself as MAGA's true Karen-in-chief with a letter complaining about his mistreatment and asking for an audience with U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland to air his grievances to the manager. For Putin, Trump's victory represents his final opportunity to spin his monumental failure in Ukraine as a triumph. Trump made it clear during his CNN rally that he will not condemn Putin for war crimes and that he does not consider Ukraine a special ally of the United States. There is ample evidence that Trump is seen by Putin's detractors as Putin's best hope. During the CNN event, Trump also declined to commit to accepting the results of the 2024 election. So, we're back where we started, only more so. Putin is essential to Trump's success. Putin depends on Trump. Both of them can count on the support of their many accomplices in crime and in the political dark. This is an opportunity to think about how they might want to work together in the future. It is also at this perilous juncture that Trump's Republican Party is once again spreading the falsehood that Trump never colluded with Russia. This time, they're using the findings from Special Counsel John Durham's report as proof that Trump's repeated claims that the Russia investigation is a hoax were correct all along. Naturally, it did not state any such thing. It was a huge non-event that only mildly criticized the FBI, without implying that the FBI's investigation into Trump and Russia was inappropriate. And we also know that every previous investigation, from the CIA to the Senate to Special Counsel Robert Mueller, has pointed to Russian interference in the 2016 election on Trump's behalf. The intelligence agencies have also reached the same conclusion. Russia actively sought to aid Trump in 2020. Putin has shown he will do whatever it takes to succeed. Trump has followed suit. By allowing a U.S. default on debt, Kevin McCarthy's support for Ukraine will be irrelevant. The time to act to prevent foreign and domestic interference in our upcoming election, and potential initiatives to undo the results of those elections, is now, given that their interests in 2024 will intersect and that both view a Trump election as essential with profound urgency. That's why it's crucial to treat the misinformation surrounding the Durham report as more than just spin. The enemies of our democracy benefit from any attempt to get us to let our guard down in this way. That's why Trump's best legal strategy is to keep the elections from interfering with efforts to hold him accountable. This is why it's so important for the government to stress that it's ready for anything and that threats are neutralized as soon as they're spotted. There has never been a more pivotal or at-risk election in the United States. There is a plethora of evidence to back up that assertion. We must now act firmly and confidently on the basis of this evidence.